Hey folks. So I've said in the past that one of my goals is to learn how to shoot and edit video. And today I'm going to do this in a different manner than I've ever done before. So I'm going to do a screen recording and then put in a little bubble of me commenting on this screen recording. We're going to discuss Dr. Berry, my favorite. We're going to discuss one of his videos. And the purpose of this is because I find it fascinating, and I know that a lot of people don't find watching health and nutrition videos fascinating. I get that. But what he's saying is super important. So what I'm going to do is just pick out a few of the key points. This is only a 17-minute video of Dr. Berry's. And I'm going to pick out a few key points just to convey his message to my people who I know likely won't watch this whole video. I'm going to put a link to Dr. Berry's video in the show notes in case you do want to check it out. It's only 17 minutes and I find him very entertaining. He's much like me. He uses adult language, which some people find offensive and some people find humorous, like me. So this is the third time that I have tried to record this video. And I have a 3 strikes you're out rule. So if this doesn't work out, then this isn't happening and there's not going to be a video this week.
Eat nutritious, healthy food. There's a new game in town, a new nutrient profiling system. And I'm going to break it down for you in this video, and you are not going to believe this bull. A scientific team from the Friedman School of Nutritional Science and Policy at Tufts University, led by researcher and author Dariush Mozaffarian, has come up with a new food compass. So this is a nutrient profiling system that in their press release, from Tufts University says ranking healthfulness of foods from first to worst. And so right off the bat from their own press release, it sounds like, oh, they're going to actually tell us nutrient-dense, uninflammatory foods that we should eat lots of, and then also the crap food that we should avoid. Now, the system uses a 100-point scale, and so a food that scored a perfect 100 would be the most nutrient-dense, ancestrally appropriate, uninflammatory, unobesity-provoking, untype 2 diabetes-provoking diet on the planet.
So remember that. The foods that are on this list should be the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet, is what Dr. Berry is saying. So keep that in mind.
And they actually give us a chart from this press release, and things that got a perfect 100.
Like the most nutrient-dense food is really going to be a fucking raspberry. Are you kidding me right now? Okay, it's not super bad for you. It's actually one of the better fruits that you can choose, but honestly, a 100 for a raspberry? Let's carry on. Mind you, as I'm drinking a Diet Coke, so.
Raw straw raspberries, okay, well, that's pretty good food. I mean, it's kind of lacking in essential fatty acids and many of the essential amino acids, but, you know, raspberries are pretty good food. Next is vegetable curry. It gets a 100. Wouldn't we want to know what ingredients went into the vegetable curry, but they don't go into that.
Yeah.
Those both get a 100, perfect score. And then instant noodle soup and ready-to-eat chocolate fat-free pudding, they both get a 1. That's
I would agree with
the
that.
absolute worst score that you can get. So this is their chart from their own press release, and you're like, well, okay, I mean, maybe. Then my good friend Nina Teicholz tweeted a few weeks ago about this food compass, and the chart that she picked from their own data, she made a chart from that. Watermelon and kale both get perfect 100s, which I guess is not very surprising. But number 3 on this list is frosted mini wheats.
Okay, so I'm not going to let this play well because he kind of loses his shit on this a little bit. So this Tufts University created this system to rank foods, and they are ranking the foods, again, completely opposite of the food of what is actually nutritious. This is the shit that drives me crazy. This is the kind of stuff that institutions use to base their meal planning on. Like, and what do I mean by institutions? Schools, hospitals, old folks' homes, all of the shit that is making us fat and sick and inflamed is going to be influenced by something like this. And this drives me crazy. So, okay, so as we're looking at, look at the very bottom, cheddar cheese and ground beef. Okay, those are two things in my world are very uninflammatory and very nutrient dense. I understand some people can't eat cheese. I get that. But ground beef, you could literally live on ground beef alone as long as it has fat in it for the rest of your life if you wanted to. Would it be boring and kind of, some people do it, honestly. Some carnivores do it. That's not my favorite way to, that's not what I would really want to do, but you can live off of that. And they have it ranked as a score of 26 to be minimized. But they have, to be encouraged, frosted fucking mini wheats, I am sure, orange juice with calcium, and Honey Nut Cheerios. That's ridiculous. Okay, let's carry on.
And you may be thinking, wait, I used to freaking love those when I was a kid, but then I grew up and I put away childish things and I started eating real food.
Thank you.
It's foods on the planet. Now, if Tufts University School of Nutrition weren't one of the preeminent schools of nutrition in the world, and Mosafarian, one of the preeminent nutrition researchers in the world, if this was just some dude behind his mom's trailer who made some crap up, big deal. Who cares, right? But the problem is both the researcher and the institution are very illustrious and highly respected in the fields of nutrition. And there are already hospitals and cafeterias that are starting to adopt this nutrient profiling system and use it to guide the food choices that they feed to patients and young children. And what's to stop the federal government from scrapping the My Plate guidelines, which were crap from day one, and adopting the food compass? Indeed, it looks like that's the ultimate goal of this, even though that hasn't happened yet. Now, the Tufts School of Nutrition, and indeed Dr. Mosafarian himself, are funded in large part
Pay attention
by
to this.
huge big food corporations, in some cases getting hundreds of thousands of dollars in grants, in funds, and who knows what other kind of money's coming from big food like Kellogg's, General Mills.
This is one of the things that I love about Dr. Berry is because he follows the money. So whenever he researches and reviews a medical study, a scientific study, and makes a video on it, he reads the entire study, which he can understand because he's a doctor, and then he goes all the way to the end to see the funding sources. And so often, I think you would be shocked, so often these studies are funded by the people who are actually going to profit from the studies going one way. And if you didn't know, let's say a big pharma company or a processed food industry wanted to do a study on a certain topic. If their study turns out to not support to not support their theory, then that whole study is scrapped and we never hear about it. And we should hear about it because it's literally proving that what we're being told is wrong, but we don't hear about those studies. So this is why I love this man. Okay, let's carry on.
Kraft Heinz Mondelez. And so immediately my BS sensor goes off and it's like, wait a minute, you're going to tell me that frosted mini wheats is out of all those foods, that's the third most nutritious one? Come on, give me a break here. Now, here's another chart that Nina Teichholz used the data from Tufts School of Nutrition's research.
And just so you know, I tried to find this data, and I think you have to connect with this university somehow. It's not just out there for the general public, but Nina is an investigative reporter, investigative journalist, and she got that information.
I guess it's research. I'm not sure where they got these numbers from, but she compiled this chart. And again, Frosted Mini Wheats gets an 87. That's a good B plus. In junior high, I'd have been happy to get an 87.
Okay,
But
so we're going to look at this. Dr. Berry, if you like I said, if you want to watch Dr. Berry and his critique of all of these charts, that's cool. We're not going to do that because what I want to do is get this information to you in bite-sized chunks that you're actually going to watch and think about. So let's just look at this chart real quick. You see all these letters down the side here? Okay, that's Kellogg's, Post, Kellogg's, Post. Grilled chicken, that's to be moderated, and whole milk to be moderated. General Mills, and egg fried in butter, cheddar cheese, and ground beef, again, are to be minimized according to this chart. Now, that is exactly the opposite of what I'm saying you should eat. Not that I'm anybody, but obviously I've figured something out. You know, I used to eat this way, and I was 45 pounds heavier, highly inflamed, achy joints, acid reflux, all kinds of issues when I ate this way, which is the point I'm trying to make to you guys.
how many name brand cereals from Kellogg's and Post and General Mills make either the green bars or the yellow bars, completely blowing away an egg, which is the most nutrient dense food that you can eat out of a very short list.
Yep.
I'm not really sure what to say about this. So Nina wrote about this in a Substack article, and I'm going to put a link down in the show notes. I really want you to sign up for her Substack because when it comes to nutrition research, Nina Teicholz is one of the preeminent authorities in the world about giving you correct information, proper information.
She is.
Now, Professor Mozaffarian, who is the dean of the Tufts Friedman School of Nutrition and Policy, is very tightly related to many governmental and NGO groups. He's held hearings, or been a part of hearings on Capitol Hill. He's worked with the White House, and he's even so valuable that the Rockefeller Foundation is thinking about maybe promoting the food compass to all of us.
Great.
Professor Mozaffarian has written many research papers condoning the use of vegetable seed oils and saying, oh, you know, highly processed food's not really that bad for you, really.
Yes, they are.
But it's great for the profits of big food. In truth, Dr. Mozaffarian is sponsored or supported or received grants from or unrestricted money from multiple big food manufacturers. There's a long
Is that a
list
surprise?
if you care
No.
to check into it. The School of Nutrition's Food and Nutrition Innovation Institute at Tufts University receives funding from over 60 different companies, including Kellogg's, including PepsiCo, General Mills, and even Cliff Bars are funneling money to Tufts University School.
And what I want people to understand is that it's not just this university. It's a lot of universities, if not all of them. Anyone that has anything to do with health research or nutrition research, you are guaranteed that these corporations, these food industries and big pharma are just shoving money at these universities. And you cannot tell me that scientific data is not tainted in favor of an outcome that's going to promote these industries or these medical outcomes. And why do I think that? Because science is not supposed to be biased like that, but it is, because these universities are going to lose millions and millions of dollars of funding if they lose these sponsors. There we go with the shit again. Okay, back at it.
Nutrition Institute to help them figure out which foods are healthy and which foods are bad for you. Can you even imagine how something could go wrong with that?
Word.
Now, Kellogg's is a gold level member of the Food and Nutrition Innovation Institute, and that requires a check for $75,000 be paid. And they wound up having 40 of their name brand products listed in the Food Compass data, and virtually every one of them gets.
And none of that shit is actually food. It is a frankenfood. It is a food-like substance. Yes, you can put it in your mouth. Yes, you can chew it. Yes, there's a taste to it. But it has so little nutrition that it's literally a frankenfood. It is a food-like substance. And we're being told not only from this Tufts University study, we're also being told the same thing in My Plate and the food pyramid, that highly processed food is the food that we're supposed to consume the most of. It is no wonder. Oh God, it's so frustrating. It's no wonder that everybody is fat and sick and inflamed, and it has all of these ridiculous and unnecessary metabolic issues. Take a breath. Let's carry on.
It's a green light, which means you can eat as much as you want of it, right? PepsiCo, however, is a platinum member, and I'm not sure how much the check has to be to become a platinum member, but Pepsi owns Quaker, and Quaker has 17 different entries on the food compass for different highly processed foods. Muscle Milk, which is also under Pepsi, has 2 different items listed, and then Fritos and Doritos have 3 different entries on the food pyramid, and they don't get the terrible scores that you think that they should get if you're just using, I don't know, common sense.
That is mind-blowing to me.
A silver level member, and they've got 53 of their...
53. Okay. So you get the gist of that. We're going to move forward a little bit here.
Here's another chart from the data directly from the Tuft School of Nutrition. Cheerios gets a 95.
Okay, so you can see the entire top 3 quarters. So just the very bottom. You're literally going to tell me that blueberry cereal and Frankenberry cereal is better than an egg fried in butter or cheddar cheese or ground beef or a chicken fillet. Okay, I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but holy shit, this is just fucking mind-blowing to me.
Popcorn. It is just puffed air. You in my barn and fed you only popcorn, you'd be dead within a few weeks because there's literally no food in pop.
You know, Dr. Barry's losing his shit on some popcorn. You know, that's one of my 2 kryptonites.
Popcorn. It is just puffed air. Those all get green lights, which means to be encouraged. Don't you think that PepsiCo and Coca-Cola and Kellogg's and General Mills are literally rubbing their greedy, grimy hands, thinking that if this becomes national policy, federal policy in any country, they are going to literally have a green light from governmental agencies whose job it is to protect the health of their citizens. They're going to have a literal green light, or at least at worst case scenario, a yellow light, saying you can eat these foods once or twice or thrice a week, but if it's green, like popcorn, you can eat that every day. We need to encourage that. And you see where these obvious, highly processed junk food, literal junk food, gets a higher compass rating score than real food like ground beef and eggs fried in butter. Now, just so you know, Beyond Meat and Plant Power Ventures are both silver level members of that Tufts Institute. And the Tufts University School of Nutrition received a $10 million grant from the U.S. Department of Agriculture to develop cultivated meat.
Did you see that, you guys? That's kind of freaking me out. Let me just back up a little bit here. Okay. Tufts also has a venture capitalist funded entrepreneur fellowship program whose aim to remove animals from the global food system. That scares the shit out of me, honestly.
Received a $10 million grant. Cultured processed meat. That's not real meat. Now, I don't know about you, but I am a common sense country boy, and I know for a fact, I know for a damn fact, that Frosted Mini Wheats and chocolate Cheerios are not as good for me, and not as good for you, as an egg fried in butter.
Word.
And I don't know what's wrong with the Tuft School of Nutrition and Dr. Mosafarian. I think maybe I might have a hint as to what's wrong with them and what guided their food compass to list so many junk foods as green light to be encouraged, and so many junk foods as yellow light to be moderated, and so much real ancestrally appropriate nutrient-dense food to be red lighted, which means to be minimized. You stop eating that egg for breakfast. I don't give a damn how many amino acids, fatty acids, vitamins, and minerals. You eat your chocolate Cheerios.
So what I like to do whenever I am watching videos of, well, honestly anything, but particularly the people that I call my heroes like Dr. Berry, I like to scroll down into the comments and just see and kind of gauge how everybody else is feeling about things. So I have it up on the screen. Let's just take a look at some of the comments here, and I'll just say them out loud. I don't want to make this a huge part of my video, but it's very interesting, and I just kind of suggest that maybe you take a look at this stuff when you're doing your own research. The first guy, they need to come out and just say it. We want you to all to stop eating healthy so we can make money with our processed foods and help insurances and doctors continue to make money for real. But I love this one. As a dietitian, I'm completely embarrassed by my profession at this point. I want nothing to do with any of the organizations. This is the exact reason why I left the school nutrition and hospital nutrition fields. They made it impossible to actually help people improve their health in any capacity. This insanity needs to stop. That comment has 441 likes. That means 441 people took a nanosecond to click like on that, which I'm going to do right now myself. Boom. Why didn't it show up? Here we go. The scariest thing about this is that people would believe it. It's scary to think that people would believe processed foods are better for you than whole foods. That's the thing that's driving me nuts about all of this, especially with that whole Beyond Meat thing and the making of fake meats and stuff. It's the exact opposite direction of where we should be going. We should be going into whether it grows from the ground or lives on the ground, that's where we should be directing and getting our food from. And it should be regenerative. We should not just keep stripping from the soil. I'm almost speechless. The collusion between giant corporations, academia, and the government is a plague machine. You forgot, well, I guess Big Pharma is a giant corporation. This is designed to be anti-keto, anti-carnivore. I went carnivore and all my blood work improved to good ranges. No more meds. I'm 74 and lost 30 pounds. Yep, I hear you. Former diabetic, vegan for 3 years, and followed a food plan similar to this. It nearly killed me. Blood pressure was very high. Weight was very high. Blood sugar was very high. Thanks to Dr. Berry and Dr. Westman, I'm certain that you saved my life. I'm telling you, these people are saving lives left and right. And Dr. Westman is kick-ass. So very soon, I'm going to do another one of these type of review videos with Dr. Berry and Dr. Westman having a conversation. The ridiculousness of this, honestly. So I just wanted to share that information with you. This is what I love about Dr. Berry. He is fearless. He does not give a single shit about ruffling the feathers of big food, big pharma, or even the medical system of which he's a part of. Again, I will stress, do your own N=1 experiment like I did. Start eliminating these processed foods from your diet. Eat whole, real foods, meats, poultry, fish, eggs, butter, bacon, yum, beef, leafy greens, some vegetables, a minimal amount of fruit that aren't high in sugar, such as, raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, that kind of stuff. And watch your health turn around. Watch the weight just fall off and your health turn around. With that, thank you for watching. Let food be thy medicine, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.